Broadcasted in the language you understand better. Our programs transmitting on the Star Times platform 24 hours.
United Arab Emirates UAE.
The only channel that speaks your language.
Akule intemi e káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa ètò yín ètò obìnrin tó dángájá.
Waye fi cancanta a dauka a matsayin dan aikin cikin gida.
Jama'a masu kallon tashar NTA Hausa barkamu da warhaka.
Kíni ayẹyẹ ọdún Iléyá tá máa ń ṣe lọ́dọọdún?
This phenomena of hate speech, disinformation, and fake news have in common. They are all capable of destabilizing the system.
United response to check hate speeches and threat to the nation's corporate existence.
And this country has the talent, this country has the men and women who have all the creative ability to make our country greater than any country in the world.
Acting President on Made in Nigeria goods expresses optimism on the future of the economy. Invest more in host communities, UN Deputy Secretary General tells Nigeria. Plus, 5 bills for 5 new universities. A warm welcome to NTA Network News. I am Elizabeth Banu, and Jennifer is in Lagos. Nigerians must rise against the growing phenomenon of promoting hate speeches and generating fake news in the country. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed stated this at the opening of an extraordinary meeting of the National Council on Information in Jos, Plateau State. Anthony Forson reports.
In recent time, media outfits and social media platforms have been awash with an avalanche of commentaries and statements, which created a tense atmosphere. It is in the light of this that the National Council on Information, the highest decision-making body in information management in the country, called for an extraordinary meeting with the theme, Hate Speeches, Fake News and National Unity. Explaining how pervasive the phenomenon has gotten, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the perpetrators throw courtesy and professionalism away for personal and selfish interests.
What do these phenomena of hate speech, disinformation, and fake news have in common? They are all capable of destabilizing the system, inciting people to violence, and weakening the people's confidence in their government. These dangerous trends are threatening the very foundation of our national unity.
Making the point that the federal government will not condone such reckless acts, citing himself as a victim of fake news spinners, he recalled when he was quoted out of context recently, and also recalled the build-up to the 2015 elections. All this, the minister said, must be resisted by the entire citizenry.
We all must say no to hate speech, either on our radio and television stations, newspapers, the social media, on our phones, or in the public space. We must be resolute in tackling the cankerworm of hate speech, disinformation, and fake news.
Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong, who was represented by his deputy, Professor Sonny Tioden, commended the initiative of the National Council on Information for convening the meeting with the aim of finding ways of checking the hate speech and fake news phenomenon in the country. He said the trend has succeeded in hitting the polity and polarizing the people. Therefore, the earlier it is nipped in the bud, the better for the unity of the country.
Address the problems that relate to the effective communication of the challenges the country is going through and how to popularize the sincere efforts government has made and is making to get the effects of these multi-sectoral challenges facing our country.
The Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, Isaac Modibukawu, presented an update on the ongoing analog to digital switchover project. The extraordinary meeting is expected to come up with a working guide that will control the phenomenon of hate speeches and fake news in the country. In Jos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The 23rd meeting of the National Council on Works has proposed adequate traffic signage on roads across the country as a way of opening up the country to Nigerians and foreigners alike, as well as reducing loss of man-hours and road accidents. Victor Azu reports.
This meeting is the highest body that sets agenda for the sector. Here at the 23rd session of the council, participants are keeping in tune with the theme, adequate traffic signage, an essential key for highways infrastructure, safety and comfort. Minister for Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, enumerated the benefits of having road furniture to include easy mobility and economic growth.
It is not enough to simply erect any sign in any place, or indeed anyhow, and that there must be specifications, not only in the quality of material, but also specifications in the quality of manufacturing.
The 36 states in the Federation will go and implement fully all the road infrastructure because of the benefits.
We need to have signages for hospitals, signages showing fuel stations, and many other important towns, as it is in many of the advanced countries in the world. And that is what we expect across every state, including Delta.
Adequate signage on roads across the length and breadth of Nigeria will not only make for easy identification of these roads, but the process of making this signage will also create employment for the unemployed. And that is what this meeting seeks to achieve. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
The rate of building collapse in Nigeria is generating concern among stakeholders, particularly those associated with the building industry. This is why the Quantity Surveyors Registration Board of Nigeria says it is ready to compete with the international community on standardization in global quantity surveying as a tool to tackle the menace. Obiageli Ugoke reports.
In view of the enormous loss of huge investment and poor rating of Nigeria in the global competitiveness record, where it ranked 107th out of 138 countries, the board engaged experts to seek contributions on the way forward.
All professionals should feel responsible when there is a situation like that in your own society. But importantly, if the structures are put right, and the method of constructions are complied to, and the bodies responsible for compliance.
At the end of various submissions, the board recommends serious consideration to components of quality infrastructure, such as standardization, metrology, conformity assessments, including certification and accreditation, in line with global best practices.
Provision is part of standardization. You know, the fact that such things are absent, you know, we can attribute to why we have collapses of buildings.
The Building and Construction Economic Forum is the 7th edition of the Board Roundtable, and the focus for this year is global competitiveness of Nigeria's quantity surveying for national development. Obiageli Ugoke, NTA.
Cross River State government says it will implement the contents of the Environmental Impact Assessment Report for the construction of the superhighway and deep-sea port projects through collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Environment to agree on the action plan for the execution of the projects. Governor Ben Ayade, who gave this indication in Calabar, also disclosed that over 71 companies are bidding for the projects. Correspondent Uduak Etim has details.
Governor Ayade said the superhighway and deep-sea port projects are in progress. To select a preferred bidder for the commencement of the proposed signature projects, the governor called on the anti-graft agencies and non-governmental organizations to come and witness the bid evaluation process.
71 different companies that bidded, which was a massive turnout. And we're using this opportunity to call on EFCC, ICPC to please come and watch the bid evaluation process. It will take about 10 days because we had very massive bids.
On the Supreme Court ruling on the People's Democratic Party case, Governor Ayade described the peace restored in the party as a healthy development for the people of Nigeria and indeed Africa. He said PDP has a great opportunity to work together as a team and strong party.
I think that PDP has a great opportunity to put our acts together and work as a team and as a solid party, while respecting my strong love and affection for President Buhari, and of course, in spirit of the people of Cross River State, praying fervently for him to come back and continue his good work, while also appreciating our acting president.
Governor Ayade believes Nigeria is the leading light in Africa, and that our democracy must also demonstrate such in all aspects. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
Governor Tanko Umaru Almakura of Nasarawa State has tasked the Council for the Regulations of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, to check excesses of quacks in the profession, which is responsible for rising cases of collapsed structures in the country. Governor Almakura stated this when he received the president of the council, Kasim Ali, in Lafia. Joshua Ojito has details.
In recent times, Nigeria has witnessed rising cases of collapsed buildings across the country, many of which were as a result of poor job execution and use of substandard materials by fake engineers. Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura said the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, has greater role to play by ensuring that only trained and certified engineers practice the profession.
Ensure that whoever goes by the prefix an engineer has what it takes to ensure a satisfaction of your standards.
President of COREN explained that their visit to Nasarawa State is not unconnected with developmental projects embarked upon by the Almakura's administration in the state, considering the fact that the projects are being handled by engineers. He commended the giant strides recorded in the state, especially in areas of road constructions and the quality of job done so far.
You have demonstrated interest in infrastructure. These are what makes nations great.
In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
The Defense Headquarters has made public the reports of boards of inquiry constituted to investigate the erroneous airstrike of internally displaced persons, IDPs, near Ran Camp in Kalabalge local government area of Borno State. Recent armed clash between some army and police personnel in Damaturu, Yobe State, and Navy and police in Calabar. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
The platform, a news conference, seeks to highlight the Board of Inquiry's report on the remote and immediate causes and to make recommendations to avert future occurrence. On the accidental airstrike on IDP camp in Ran, Borno State on 17 January, findings reveal that the absence of appropriate marking of the location as a designated humanitarian camp in the operational map of the counterinsurgency is responsible for the error. The report recommends proper identification, marking, timely and mandatory exchange of information between stakeholders in the theater of operation. The report explained that the April armed clash between the army and police personnel serving under Operation Lafia Dole in Damaturu was caused by avoidable misunderstanding. This, the board recommend strict centralized operational and administrative control of all joint operations.
The board recommended that the Nigerian Navy and police should institute further investigation to identify erring personnel for sanctions. Now, the import of that recommendation is that beyond the two people or three that actually caused the problem, the incident, there may be more people. Because there was the issue of you going to call your colleagues from both sides and then they started fighting.
All the three incidents occurred in 2017. From the Defense Headquarters, Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And the Army, Navy, Immigration and the police say investigations with the killings of 94 Nigerians in the Bakassi Peninsula reveals that the claims have not been substantiated. All the security agencies, including officials from the Foreign Affairs Ministry and the Nigerian Boundary Commission, told the House of Representatives Committee on Foreign Affairs that such claims could affect Nigeria's relation with her neighbor. National Assembly correspondent Rabi Musa has details.
The Nigerian Army, represented by Major General Amadou David, Chief of Training and Operations, said joint patrols with other agencies were carried out in the affected areas and there was no confirmation of such killings. The Navy, represented by Rear Admiral Obed Ngalabak, explained to the members that a group of Nigerians arrived at the naval base unhurt, while the Immigration Service said of the 1,500 documented, none confirmed the death of any relation. The Cross River State Commissioner of Police, Hafiz Inwa, said all allegations have not been substantiated.
We have embarked on information gathering patrols to unravel what really happened. Unfortunately, nobody corroborated the allegations.
None of the returnees could provide video evidence of the attack.
We do not verify and checkmate all this information. It may end up creating conflict between ourselves and our neighboring brothers.
The chairperson, Nene Lendu, and members of the committee said though there has been no record of death, the people are in dire need of land to call their own and call for explanations on the 39 billion naira allocated for development of accommodations for them.
The security agencies is one and the same, that there is no record of any death.
Rabi Musa, NTA News.
And as the displaced people of Bakassi await resettlement, attention has been drawn to the plight of women and children currently in the camp. A former presidential advisor and APC stalwart, Senator Florence Itagiwa, stated this during her visit to the displaced persons in Bakassi. Umar Basi Edet reports.
For the women, life is no longer the same as they can hardly provide the needed warmth and care for the young ones who are fast becoming ill. Moved by their plight and condition, Senator Florence Itagiwa presented food to the Bakassi returnees with a call on the federal government and international bodies to assist in their resettlement in line with the Green Tree Accord. Senator Itagiwa emphasized that if properly resettled at the Day Spring Island, the Bakassi displaced persons could return to their pre-occupation, which is fishing.
We are obliged to make sure that this baby does not, grow up in a refugee camp. And that's what I've been preaching, that we need to relocate these people, that we need to go and develop that Day Spring. Because if you had developed Day Spring, as they come now, they would have gone there.
The returnees lamented the poor living conditions within the camp, especially for nursing mothers, pregnant women as well as children, and appealed to other well-meaning Nigerians to emulate the kind gesture of Senator Florence Itagiwa.
We're going to even see food to eat. To get water to give the baby, we don't have.
They say they are hopeful that fate would soon smile on them. From Bakassi local government area of Cross River State, Umar Basidet, NTA News.
A former chief of Nigerian Army Transformation and Innovation Center, Abuja, Major General Ibrahim Sani, has been demoted from Major General to Brigadier General. This was after he was convicted of 5-count charge bordering on fraud by a special military court-martial at the Nigerian Army Garrison Headquarters, Abuja. Ismail Musa reports.
Since 2015, Major General Sani appears in this court, anxiously waiting for the outcome of his trial, described as the longest in the history of court-martials in Nigeria. The accused is facing 7-count charges. Count 1 and 2 bordering on disobedience were discharged and acquitted, while the rest 5 that bordered on fraud were held. At last, the long-awaited conclusion of the case carries a sentence: demotion from the rank of a Major General to a Brigadier General and a refund of 23 million naira. Pronouncing the sentence, The president of the Special Military Court-Martial, Air Vice Marshal James Boom, says the court held that the convict fraudulently allocated part of the Nigerian Army 436 hectares of land behind the Mogadishu cantonment Abuja to himself through a pseudo company where he is a sole signatory. The accused was also charged for selling part of the land to officers, which he has to refund. The sentence is subject to the confirmation of the Nigerian Army Council.
The facts against the convicted senior officers were overwhelming, credible and reliable.
Do not know any that ever went beyond 6 months. But this one, we've heard ourselves up to a year plus, and today we've heard the verdict. For me, that only is the beginning. We are going on appeal.
Ismail Musa.
The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has directed that appropriate charges be immediately preferred against an airman of the Nigerian Air Force reportedly involved in the University of Osun State fracas of 24th May 2017. In a statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Olatokunbo Adesonya said the investigations have been directed to address certain fundamental issues in the report. Also, efforts are in place to mending the relationship between members of the Uniosun community and the Nigerian Air Force, one of which is a planned novelty football match between both communities. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, says average daily gas supply to the nation's power plants has risen by 64%. A statement by the Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, Ndu Gamadu, on May Financial and Operations Report says the current natural gas supply to power plants is 729 million standard cubic feet per day, as against 446 in 2016. It also stated that NNPC, within the period under review, activated plans to build 500 million standard cubic feet of gas per day metering plant for the capacity expansion of Egbin Power Plant. The statement adds that while national daily gas production stood at 242 billion cubic feet, the Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna refineries were operational, with minimum of 6 million litres of petrol and diesel loaded out from the refineries on a daily basis. Another achievement in the period, the statement further added, is the crash of diesel retail price from 300 naira to between 175 naira and 200 naira across the country, as well as the decline in pipeline vandalism. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. This is NTA Network News. We now take a break to bring you some messages. We'll be back with more reports. Stay with us.
Going up? Of course. Not. With Glow Internet, built on Africa's largest wholly owned metro fiber network, the sky is, well, it is rather unlimited. Up is upbeat, seamlessly. Up is quick and easy access to all your favorite apps and entertainment. And there is no downside on a network committed to upping your fun and productivity. Get quick on your uptake, my friend, and upset the odds in your favor. Because on Glow, up isn't an upgrade. It is the upgrade. Going up?
These data plans are available to all new customers and existing customers who renew their plans. Dial *777#. The largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
Since inheriting the Boko Haram insurgency, Governor Kashim Shettima has been supporting security agencies, coordinating community intelligence, recruiting and funding thousands of youth volunteers, hunters in the fight against Boko Haram. He has rebuilt hospitals, water sources, schools, police stations, local government secretariats, and thousands of houses destroyed by insurgents in rural communities. He is resettling victims and empowering them through modern agriculture. He is building mega primary and junior secondary schools to provide quality and free boarding education to over 50,000 children orphaned by the Boko Haram. He has remained prompt on worker salaries, built over 2,500 houses and apartments in 5 estates. He is building and equipping new hospitals, building Borno's first state university after 41 years, building over 10 factories. Governor Shetima is remodeling and building new roads, bridges, lightening the streets, and so much more. Join the rebuilding of Borno to say no to Boko Haram.
Hey, now who they here? My name now Mr. Shortcut. I dey mind my money. Now cheap one I dey buy. Standard, we sign. Now to buy cheap one. Hey, now one kind cable for my yard. A cheap building material where we take build my office. I think say I dey save money. Office building collapse and fire burn my house.
You don't see what happened to Mr. Shortcut? Well, Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, don't ready for action and say enough of pain, loss and wastage. And if you see product where no dey correct, call the SON office where near you or SON help desk. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
We want to buy Indomie noodles. 4 packs, please.
Yo.
This is not my Indomie. Please, sir, if it's not Indomie, don't call it Indomie.
Sir, the taste is the difference. The difference is in the taste. That's why my brothers, my mommy, my daddy, and I all enjoy a delicious, so very delicious Indomie noodles. The difference is the taste.
Taste is the difference.
Yes, difference is in the taste. Nothing tastes like my Indomie.
Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
From the producer of The Wedding Party and taxi driver Okwa Show comes another blockbuster romantic adventure.
Nearly a year, I don't even know where you stay.
I said Bako.
Tattoo.
I think someone is after me.
Based on a book by Dr. Abraham Wankwo.
She has no hiding place.
Starring Shego Arinze, Toy Aimaku, Gabriel Afolayan, Rahama Saidu, Fulola Afoebi Rhyme, Sambasa Nzeribe, Saka, Frank Dunga, Desmond Elliott, introducing Dumebi Nzeribe. Tattoo, directed by Donna Mokman, showing at cinemas nationwide from September 15th. Premieres on the 22nd of July at the prestigious Eco Hotel and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos.
I'd rather die than have Buru take my baby!
This premiere is packaged by Larry Mapo Events.
The Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu, cordially invites all stakeholders in the education sector to the 62nd meeting of the National Council on Education. Date, Monday, 24th to Friday, 28th July 2017. Venue, the Efficient, Kano State, opposite Multi-Choice Office, Magazine Roomfa Road, Nasarawa GRA, Kano State. Delegates at the council meeting from the Federal Ministry of Education and its parastatals, State Ministries of Education and Education Secretariat of the FCT, international development partners and other stakeholders in education are expected to attend. The officials meeting technical session will be chaired by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, while the ministerial session will be chaired by the Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu. You are welcome. Professor Hafiz Abubakar, Deputy Governor and Commissioner of Education, Science and Technology, Kano State, and Chairman, Local Organizing Committee. Announcer.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, What the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Thank you for staying with us on NTA Network News. 4 colleges of education and 1 college of agriculture are to be upgraded to the status of federal universities. To this end, the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TEP Fund organized a public hearing on the proposed bills. National Assembly correspondent Rabi Musa reports.
The institutions for upgrade to university levels are Federal University of Kano, Alvan Ikoko Federal University Owerri, Ademi Federal University Ondo, Federal University Zaria, while the College of Agriculture Kaba is also to be upgraded to the status of Federal University of Agriculture. Senate President Bukola Saraki, represented by the Deputy Chief Whip, Senator Ali Heme Francis, outlines the objective of the bills.
To encourage an advancement of learning, to develop and offer academic and professional programs, that is key in education.
Chairman, Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund, Senator Barrow Jibrin, said the change agenda rests on quality of the nation's human resource.
The existence of a sound and robust education system in any country is predicated on the availability of qualified and well-trained teachers.
Vice Chancellors of affiliate universities, provosts of affected colleges to be upgraded, National Universities Commission NUC, unions, teachers and traditional rulers highlighted the benefits of the upgrade.
No objection to the establishment of a Federal University of Agriculture in Kaduna.
The National Universities Commission actually has no objection. Establishment of a university on that territory has been their heart desire.
And we believe it is an idea whose time is now.
The sponsors of the bills are Senators Samuel Ayawu and Dino Malaye. Rabi Musa, NTA News.
The United Nations has tasked Nigeria to invest more in the host communities of victims of conflict and insurgency to address the mental health and properly reintegrate especially women and children back into the society. Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed, given the charge at a consultative meeting with women leaders and conflict-affected women and girls in Nigeria, said political and women leaders should be held accountable for the pains of these victims. Justin Bem-Unyi reports.
There are indications that Nigeria is grappling with a complex humanitarian emergency that is taking a toll on a number of people in not just the northeast, but in other zones. The consultative meeting with a high-level delegation from the United Nations re-echoed the need for government to take action to implement policy frameworks for the interventions in post-conflict reconstruction and rebuilding processes.
You don't have to come from a specific political party to be for. Every woman, as long as she is in a position of authority, whatever authority, we have to be able to work together.
The UN Deputy Secretary General says it is important for the state to be careful not to rather create and sow seeds of other conflicts in the future in an effort to overcome existing conflicts. The UN delegation had the chance to meet and interact with the 106 liberated Chibok schoolgirls with a resounding welcome experience.
Don't remain victims. You are not. You are survivors.
We are also doing remedial studies for them because they had been out of school, all of them, for over 2 years.
The meeting was an awakening of hopes, dreams and encouragement for the schoolgirls who are undergoing reintegration and rehabilitation, getting ready to resume school activities. Justin Bem-Unyi, NTA News.
And women participation in politics on the front burner again at the Center of Excellence, Lagos. Jennifer tells us more about this and other trending stories in the zone.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. The Nigerian police force says it will not condone any act of lawlessness or the misuse of firearms from its personnel at any time. The Zone 2 Police Public Relations Officer, Dolakbo Badmos, reiterated this while reacting to the recent mob attack in Apapa that led to the death of a trailer driver. Abolade Salami has the details.
The Zone 2 Public Relations Officer, Dolakbo Badmos, while reacting to the unfortunate incident that broke out on Wednesday, the 19th of July 2017, between a policeman and a trailer driver in Apapa over an alleged extortion of bribe from the policeman, said preliminary investigations revealed that there was an altercation between both parties before the driver was allegedly shot by the policeman.
That is trying to park, blocking a bank. And the policeman guarding the bank actually came out. And in the process of preventing him from doing such, this led to shooting. And invariably, the truck driver actually gave up after being rushed to the hospital.
She added that the policeman is in custody undergoing interrogation, while others who participated in arson that saw the burning of the two bank buildings are helping the police in the investigations.
The fact remains that if the policeman has unjustly taken the life of that man, he will face the wrath of the law. And we are also going to put into consideration the usage of firearm as it is ordered by Force Order 237. And if his action has negated any of that, he's going.
A visit to the scene at Apapa showed that normalcy has returned to the affected area as some bank officials were seen removing the debris from the wreckage. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Women groups in Lagos State say they are poised to ensure that the local government elections across the state is not only free and fair, but favorable to women participating in the electoral process. This was a consensus of a coalition of women advocacy groups, Women's Situation Room, at a stakeholders forum on the role of election observers in the state. Musa Toliat has the details.
Advocacy groups under the aegis of Women's Situation Room Nigeria say, in spite of the fact that women are often manipulated when it comes to fielding candidates during electioneering process, those who have been able to brace up to participate must be encouraged and supported. The group said one of the ways to assist women in politics is to set up an effective women observer group that will monitor electoral processes and report issues that affect women candidates at various polling units to the Women's Situation Room.
We need to do more grounded and engaged advocacy to harness the skills women have in promoting peace. Because most of us, we know that why we don't see women participating concretely is a fear of violence.
To ensure effective coverage of the local government polls, the group says more than 20 women and local observers have been trained.
Strengthening local structures is very important. And that is why we are saying, okay, local government election, let us lower emphasis and see how we strengthen it so that it can reach the ordinary women walking on the streets.
The Women's Situation Room Nigeria stressed the need for minimum representation of women in the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission, as well as party agents and security personnel during the elections.
The Women's Situation Room has also gone ahead to advocate for the rights of women, and also advocate for peaceful election 2018-2019.
The theme of the stakeholders meeting is local government election, gender and election observation. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Now to business. Focus on programs and economic activities to empower youth and create wealth to complement federal government efforts, an economic expert tells state government as the nation's economy gradually recovers from recession. Amechi Pius has more on our business news segment.
It's business news, and thanks for being a part of this segment of the news. An economic analyst, Johnson Chukwu, says the Nigerian economy is gradually recovering, but not gotten to the point where the ordinary Nigerian can begin to feel the impact of such growth. He said the impact of the standard of living can only be felt by the citizens when the nation achieves a growth level where the GDP growth rate is more than population growth rate. This is because on per capita income basis, the GDP will continue to contrast because the nation population is growing at a faster rate.
You're going to see a gradual remediation of those challenges we had. We had the issues of FX last year. We're beginning to see an improved level of liquidity in the FX market. We had issues of productivity last year. We're beginning to see improvement in those areas. So the key thing is that you need, because the productivity was as a result of lack of FX. So you find that many companies could not continue to manufacture because they couldn't access FX. We're beginning to see improvement in those areas. You're not going to see a big bang all from a recession of 1.52%, 5% last year. You now see a growth of 6%. The economy will gradually recover.
The good news is disclosed is that government is on track with improvement on its policies, but must tackle the huge infrastructural deficit in the country. There is an urgent need for state governments to align with the economic recovery and growth plan of the federal government. This is one sure way of attaining sustainable and inclusive growth of the economy, given the strategic role state governments play in national development. An analyst, Dr. Oladimeji Alo, gave this advice in an interview with NTA Business News in Lagos.
We know state governments that haven't paid salary. We know state governments that introduce one project or the other just to take money out of the system, and these projects have no impact whatsoever. You know state governments that are not transparent. They don't even involve anybody in their planning, and they come up with one scheme or the other, and you find that essentially those schemes are just an attempt to take money out of the state, so that the states can begin to see themselves as economic units rather than just consumption units. Today, the states just see themselves as units that go to the center to collect allocation, which they spend. No effort is made for the states themselves to raise revenue.
State governments, he noted, must take advantage of the huge resources at their disposal to embark on sustainable development projects and programs to change the fortunes of their people in the overall interest of the nation. And here are closing figures on the trading floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange today.
The all-share index closed at 34,020.37. Market capitalization was 11.72 trillion naira. 378.18 billion shares changed hands on the floor. WAPCO added 5 naira 4 kobo to its share price to emerge the top gainer.
A stock market report concludes our business news. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Amici. You're still on to NTA Network News. The news will continue shortly with Elizabeth in Abuja. But first, some messages.
Some reunions are worth waiting for. Reconnect your old SIM and we'll give you 6,000 Naira airtime. Also enjoy 8 times bonus on every e-top-up recharge.
The largest data network, Glow, unlimited.
The Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Emmanuel Ibeka-Chukwu, cordially invites stakeholders in the oil and gas industry and diplomats to the opening ceremony of the extraordinary session of the Council of Ministers of the African Petroleum Producers Organization, APO. The event will hold as follows. Venue, Transco Hilton, Abuja. Date, Monday, July 24, 2017. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. The acting president, His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SANGCON, is expected to declare the event open. Attendees are expected to be seated by 9 a.m. please. Idanga Libi, Director, Press and Public Relations, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, announcer.
calm down. The movie I'm downloading is on 95%. It's still on. Eh?
Introducing Airtel Unlimited Data Plans. Get Unlimited 10 for 10,000 Naira. Get Unlimited 15 for 15,000 Naira. And Unlimited 20 for 20,000 Naira. Unlimited data. Unlimited you.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
We want to buy Indomie noodles. 4 packs, please.
Yo.
This is not my Indomie. Please, sir, it's not Indomie. Don't call it Indomie.
Sir, the taste is the difference. The difference is in the taste. That's why my brothers, my mommy, my daddy, and I all enjoy a delicious, so very delicious Indomie noodles. The difference is the taste.
Taste is the difference.
Yes. Difference is in the taste. Nothing tastes like my Indomie.
Indomie noodles. Tasty nutrition, good for you.
Reorganized, trained, and fully equipped. We are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, wherever the hideout, the Nigeria Police Force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, pipeline vandalism, and other criminal activities. Be productive. Be security conscious. Join the police force to secure your life and property. This message is from the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Department.
You're watching NTA Network News. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo is positive that the future of the nation's economy is bright. He stated this while inspecting made-in-Nigeria products at the Abuja Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
I've seen the future of Nigeria's economy, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo declares, as they inspect made-in-Nigerian products on display at the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic here at the Ego Square in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. And he gives the reason for this.
I want to say that all of the businesses that we've seen here today, many of them are young men and women who believe in this country and who are using Nigerian products, Nigerian products, Nigerian crafted machines in many cases, fabricated, and who are producing incredible things with what they have.
Stressing the role of government, the acting president says it is not enough for the MSME operators to manufacture and work so hard, but to have complementary support from other stakeholders.
The business of making our country truly great is not just the business of government. Government is transient, it passes away. But it is the business of every one of us. And this country has the talent, this country has the men and women who have all the creative ability to make our country greater than any country in the world.
The MSME clinic under the office of the acting president has held in Aba, Ilorin, Sokoto, Jos, Katsina, and in Calabar, and thus in Abuja is the latest one. The clinic is expected to hold in all the states and the different geopolitical zones with the regulatory agencies. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Forming a coalition of forces is strategic to enhancing telecommunications in Nigeria. Executive Vice Chairman, Nigerian Communications Commission, Umar Garba Dambata said this in a message at a workshop to sensitize security agencies in Gombe. Emmanuel Akila reports.
The telecommunications industry is one of the sectors witnessing rapid growth and contributing to the Nigerian economy in recent times. The workshop in Gombe by the Nigerian Communications Commission is in continuation of sensitization of law enforcement agencies nationwide on telecommunications issues and collaboration to tackle security challenges in the industry.
If they understand our enforcement processes, they will understand when we come to the field to do enforcement. We also want them to know about the laws that set up NCC and how we want the aspects that relates to the security agencies to help us implement.
Inspector General of Police, represented at the workshop, says the initiative by NCC and the synergy with broad spectrum of stakeholders is important in securing the telecommunications industry, looking at its contribution to national growth and development.
One of the advantages of a workshop like this is, first of all, to identify critical areas that you just mentioned that may not be seen, and how to dictate them, how to dictate such crimes, and the necessary steps that security agencies may take or should take in coping such emerging crimes.
There were presentations on overview of the Nigerian Communications Commission, enforcement powers, regulations and procedures, as well as questions and answer session, where the different aspects of crimes emanating in the telecommunication industry and how the security agencies can help tackle them were highlighted.
The Nigerian Communication Commission is focusing attention on security towards ensuring better service delivery to Nigerians. And the commitment required on the part of the participants in this workshop is important towards achieving success. In Gombe, I am Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Abdullahi in Kaduna brings us an update on Kajuru communal clash and other reports. It's over to you, Abdullahi.
Good evening, Elizabeth, and thanks for joining us in Kaduna. Kaduna State Police Command says it will fish out those behind the recent crisis in Kajuru local government area and ensure the full road of the law. The Commissioner of Police, Agiole Abe, stated this while giving an update on the recent crisis in the area. Ahmed Mohammed Usman reports.
The recent crisis that occurred in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State has led to the displacement of some communities and property worth millions of naira destroyed. This is Student Fulani settlement in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, affected by the incident which resulted to the death of many people. Around 10 in the morning, we saw some hoodlums coming towards us, shouting. My family ran away. I stay away to cook food for them. I'm appealing to my people to calm down. Violence takes us nowhere. More security personnel have been deployed to the area.
We will remain on ground. We have both the military and police components to be able to restore confidence in the people.
The victims are taking refuge at Kajuru and Kaswamagani town of the local government.
Our major challenges now is the accommodation of those on exile.
For now, normalcy has returned to the area and people who fled are coming back to their homes. From Kajuru local government, Ahmed Mohammed Usman, NTA News.
Thank you, Ahmed. That report ends Network News from Kaduna. It's back to Elizabeth, who has more reports in Abuja. Elizabeth.
Thank you, Abdullahi. Islam forbids idleness, therefore begging for alms, which constitutes extortion and other social vices, must be discouraged in the society. Imam of the National Assembly Central Mosque, Apo, Ustaz Muhammad Nur Khalid, stated this after the Friday prayers. Abdullah Suleiman Iyaji reports.
Some people give them money out of pity, others just to get them off their backs. But the menace of street beggars is one which gives a lot of concern. Islam abhors the adoption of any form of begging as a profession.
Begging is not permissible Islamically. It's shameful to the nation. We're supposed to stop it, not to tax it.
I don't encourage giving alms on the road. Okay. There are places you can go to. There are orphanages. There are destitute centers. Genuinely, if you want to do that, because most of these people you see on the street, some of them are drug addicts. If you give them money, they go and take drugs.
Social commentators have attributed the increase in street begging to poverty, a situation the Imam said requires intense prayers and social justice to overcome. In Abuja, Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji, NTA News.
Foreign news on sports when we come back after the break. Stay with us.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC as an agency is indeed doing so much to protect the health of our nation. I urge everyone to support NAFDAC in ridding the country of fake drugs and unwholesome products.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Foreign news now with Oku Ekpeyong.
Hello there and welcome to this segment of the news. White House Press Secretary